People under 40 always made fun of the "I've fallen and I can't get up" videos. Like, how is it possible that somebody doesn't have the strength to actually stand up? But when you're over 60 or you have parents over 70 or 80, you're not laughing anymore. It becomes a real fascinating scenario that is very real and very dangerous. Every year, 36 million older people in the United States have falls, and 1/10 of them have injuries, either bone breaking or head trauma. That means 3.5 million elderly Americans are seriously injured from this. And if you get a bone break at that age, that could be a death sentence. And actually, 41,000 people die a year just from falling and not being able to get back up. So how can you have the strength to actually get up again? I'm going to show you how to get up if that happens, because a lot of times you're alone and there's nobody around, and that's when the trouble starts, and you can't reach a phone for help or anything like that. But I'm also going to show you exercises, simple ones that you can do to help rebuild your muscles so you can get yourself back up again. And we're also going to discuss what causes the condition and what to do about it. So let's get started. Now, one of the things that a lot of people do when they fall down is they try to push themselves up like this. See what I'm doing? I'm pushing myself up with one arm. And that's part of the problem. That one arm has got to push up 100 pounds. 100 pounds is a lot of weight. And so that's a big problem. People go, and they can't get up. So here's what to do. There's several things to do, depending on what you have to work with. One is, if you fall down, roll over on your stomach, put your arms by your side, and then push up. Here, you're using the strength of both arms, okay? This is really important. Somehow, push up with both arms. There you have double the strength of somebody trying to do one arm. It's really hard to do one-arm push-ups when you're that age. Once you're up like this, get your legs underneath like this, and now it's real easy to go up. Now, another thing that you can do if you can't do that is you roll. Roll as far as you can until you get something like this, an object that you can somehow pull yourself up from. Use both arms, not one. But let's hope you never get to that spot. The most important thing is to build your muscles so you can just get up. Okay, I'm going to start with the simplest exercises because I'm going to assume some of the people watching this are not able to do anything and they need to start from zero. So I'm going to start with the simplest stuff. And then once you start getting a little bit of strength, I'm going to work up to the more difficult ones. So you get a chair, and you don't need handles on the chair, but it does help for some of the other ones, exercises. But anyway, so let's start with the simplest thing of all, and that is, you can do this while sitting. Start with calf raises, where you raise up your heels like this, okay? That is the first one. And then start with toe raises like this. This is something you can do while sitting in the safety of your chair, and then move your heels out sideways and in like this, okay? And then move your toes out sideways like this. That's a starting point. And of course, your biggest leg muscles that will push you up are up here. So let's start working those out. This is marching in your chair. All right. You can do this while watching TV. This is something that anybody can do. All right. Marching in your chair while sitting. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to alternate upper body with lower body, because you don't want to wear out this and then do all that stuff at once. So do a couple of leg exercises, then do a couple of arm exercises. Put your arms out and do circles like this, and then do circles backwards like that for as long as you can. 30 seconds is a good time. I'm not going to do it all for today. And another one is have your arms out like this in front of you, like you're washing a window. Okay? So this is, now you worked out your arms. Now let's go back to our knees again. So we lift your knees one at a time. It's kind of like marching, but you're doing one leg at a time, and then you do both at a time. Like this. Really important to do this stuff. All right, then back to your arms again. Do very slow motion bird flapping wings. This is simple stuff. I mean, you got to start somewhere. And this does work out muscles. They have to be reminded what they're there for. Okay, then we move back to our legs again. So what we do here is we do the legs straighten out straight, like this, alternate. Just get it as straight as you can. You'll feel this. One leg out straight. Okay, and then back to our arms again. This time we go, make a letter L with your arms like this. Like this. You're lifting. This is a shoulder exercise. This works out your shoulders. And as you progress, start adding weights to it. This is, of course, later on when you've got a little bit of muscle happening. Start with small weights, 2 pounds, 5 pounds. Okay, back to the legs again. Kick them like you're in the water. Just keep them straight. This actually feels kind of good. This is fun. This is if your legs are falling asleep, this is a good way to wake them up. You can do this in an airplane or just sitting anywhere. Really important. Okay, back to your arms again. This time we're going to do a tricep exercise. That's the back of your arm. These are the biggest muscles in your arm. These are what really help push you up. People think it's the bicep. It's actually the tricep that does most of the heavy lifting. So put your arms up straight, bend them back, and go straight up and back behind you, up and back behind you. This is just to wake them up. Later on, as you are used to doing this, put something in your hands that weighs something. You could use these weights here, little 2-pound weights or 5-pound weights, but just do this. Okay, this works out the triceps. You got to do this. The biceps are these things. That's the front here. You can work those out too. Those are not as important as your triceps, but you should work them out because that gives you balance in your arms. So obviously just go like this. This is really easy, but it helps to have anything in your hands that weighs anything, even if it's just a pound or two. All right, so then you lift as you're seeking again. While you're watching TV, you're doing this. Okay, next up, you're doing straight up and down, straight up and down. This works out your shoulders. Get some weight and do this if you can. Start with nothing and then work your way up to something. You got to build those muscles. Okay, next up, this is something that you got into the chair. How do you get out of the chair? Usually you grab the handles and you push up. Well, do that a bunch of times. Just keep pushing up and down. And then, after you've gotten used to doing this, and you're getting a little bit of muscle building, then actually have your arms support your weight. So you're not using your legs at all. You're just supporting your body weight with your arms, and you're pushing yourself up and down with only your arms. You will feel this for sure. So I'm not using my legs at all. I'm only using my arms. So that's your tricep. Now, the most important exercise of all to getting up, other than getting your arms strong, is a squat. Because your legs are the most powerful muscle in your body. And most people have really underdeveloped leg muscles because they sit all day. So what you should do is get something that's solid, like a chair. And now the idea is obviously to go like this, all right? But that's the problem. Most people don't have this, so they can't do this when they're older. So you got to start somewhere to be able to do that, because this is what pushes you up. Now, I made a video for normal people that are younger. You got to do 30 of these several times a day, just to, if you sit all day at a computer or something. But let's say you're an elderly person and you can't do that. Grab onto something that's solid and just do a little bit. Just go like this. And do it slowly. I mean, you can do it quick if you want, but it's better if you do things slowly. It works your muscles out more. Just like that. Okay, and then as you get more developed, you go lower. And then as time goes on, you go even lower. Now, if you had knee injury, inflammation, obviously you can't go very low, but just do whatever you can. Try not to have your legs go out as you do it or in. Try to keep them straight. But squats is so important. Now, while we have this chair here, I'm going to show you another thing that's kind of cool to do. This is, I guess, a little bit more advanced, but that is the reverse supported lunge. And this is where you go like this. This not only works out your legs, but also stretches you. Really cool. Now, be careful with chairs that are wobbly. You don't want to have it go like that, and then you're really in trouble. So get something that's very, sturdy. You can use a recliner or a couch or a countertop or something. Speaking of countertop, a countertop is a great thing to use because it's not going anywhere. It's not going to slide or fall or anything. So this is a great way to start getting your arms to get some strength, and that is a push-up like this. Now, obviously, start with something really light, like just mild, like this. This isn't very dangerous. Now, as you get some strength, put your feet back further, so you're pushing further, and just go as far as you can, even just a little bit, and then as you get stronger, go further. The older people are not going to be able to do this for quite a while, but this is what you're working towards. What you're starting with is this. Also, where you can do your lunge stretch like this, like that, and also your mild, and then of course more lower. If you can, go lower over time. You're not going to be able to do this right away. And you can kick your leg out to the side like this. Another great thing to use is rubber bands. Kara made a video actually about how to work out with rubber bands. These things are great because you might not like the weights and things because that might be too much for most people to start. But rubber bands are great because they come in different thicknesses. And of course, the thicker they are, the more resistance they have. But so you can start with a really thin one. And there's so many things you can do, like put them underneath your feet and just go like this. That's a good start. And stretch them this way. This works your back muscles. You can go like this, pushing up. All kinds of different muscles in your arm and shoulder and biceps and triceps that work out. Just with different variations, you're working out different muscles. So that's really important. I check out that video that Kara did, and I think you'd like that. And these are great to take when you're traveling too, because they fit into you can put them in your purse or your suitcase or wherever. So what causes this condition and what can you do about it? Well, this is the classic case of use it or lose it. Your muscles and your bones, if they don't get used, you start losing them. Sarcopenia, which is the wasting away of muscles, and osteoporosis, which is the loss of bone density and making them really brittle, is what happens to older people. And people think that's just part of aging. It's really not. It's the result of sitting around and not moving your body very much. Because if your muscles don't get used, your body thinks, well, I don't need them, so let them just waste away. The problem is that let's say you have a fall and your bones are very brittle, because bones need strength exercises too to stay strong. If you don't use strength and weight-bearing loads and exercises, your bones get really weak. That's what keeps them strong, is when you put pressure on your bones, when your muscles put pressure on your bones. So if you fall, your bones easily break if you haven't been using them and you haven't been moving your body for quite a while. And that's the biggest problem with people, especially in the United States. People sit all day long. They sit at home. They sit in the car. They sit in the restaurant. All they do is sit. They sit at a computer. They scroll. They sit. They don't move enough. Even something as simple as walking, which people don't do enough of. You're supposed to have at least 10,000 steps a day. That's at least 3 or 4 20-minute walks every day. So important. Did you know that in your calf, deep inside your calf, there is a muscle called a soleus, which is called the second heart? What that does is it actually pumps blood back up again once it goes down there. Your heart's up here and it pumps around, and most of it, gravity, goes down there. But what's going to pump it back up? It's really hard for this thing here to pump something back up that's down there. That's why you have a soleus in each leg. And the way that thing works is when you contract your calf muscles from walking, those things, they pump every time you move. It's not an automatic pump like the heart. It only pumps when you move your calf muscles. So either walking or doing calf raises like this. Or you can do this while you're sitting too. You can do calf raises while you're sitting. That pumps the soleus, which pumps the blood back up and keeps it from pooling down at the bottom there. Really important for health. And speaking of health, your heart is a muscle. And if your muscles are wasting away, this is your bones, your muscle, your skin is all made of protein, especially collagen. Most people, when they get older, they are way low in lacking in protein. You need more protein as you age because your body is not absorbing the nutrition as efficiently as it used to. And one of the reasons for that is as people age, they have lower stomach acid. Again, this is not necessarily normal for aging, but it's very common, especially in the United States and the modern world. Why? Well, because people are doing things, especially in their diet, that lower stomach acid. One of them is antacids, which people think that when they have GERD or acid reflux, that's because they have too much acid. Actually, that's not the case. Usually what it is that's causing that is you're eating bread and sugar and things that feed yeast and H. pylori, and that yeast weakens the upper valve of your stomach, which allows stomach acid to go up into the esophagus, which is not protected from any kind of acid whatsoever. So even though the acid in your stomach is weaker, it's still acid, and it's still going to burn your esophagus. So the worst thing you can do is take antacids, which makes the stomach acid even weaker, which allows the yeast and the H. pylori to grow, and it's just this bad thing. So what you need to do is eat foods that only are found in nature that do not deplete your stomach acid. And that means stopping the bread, because bread soaks up stomach acid like a sponge. And then the sugar in the carbs that you eat feeds the yeast and makes it balloon out, plus the H. pylori, which you don't want. So you're getting, because H. pylori, when it grows, it actually puts out ammonia, which makes it survive. And ammonia depletes and cancels out stomach acid. So the more sugar and carbs and bread and cookies and pasta and cakes and pies you eat, the more you're depleting your stomach acid. And the more you deplete your stomach acid, the less your proteins are going to break down and absorb into your body to build muscle. It's a big chain reaction. So what you eat is so important, not just working out, because working out isn't going to do anything if you don't have any protein to build the muscles. You can send a message to your muscles saying, I want you to grow, and the muscles are going, okay, well, where's the building materials? So as people get older, they like to eat comfort food. They like to eat casseroles and bread and cookies and pasta and all kinds of, that stuff that's made with flour that's baked in an oven. And that's the worst thing for your stomach. You're lowering your stomach acid, and you're not allowing the proteins to break down and get into your system. So clean up your diet. Eat only things that are found in nature. That's a good start. Just only stuff you find in nature. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whatever it is that you find in nature, that's what you should be eating. And I also suggest adding some apple cider vinegar to each thing because that helps the stomach acid. Or you could do HCl pills, hydrochloric acid pills. But apple cider vinegar is a good start. Cut the sugar, cut the orange juice and the sweet stuff, and start eating more savory foods that you find in nature. Of course, more protein. Add protein powder if you have to. Do what you can. Now, also to build stomach acid requires several things. It requires water. You need water to create the acid. You need some salts. Sea salt is obviously best. We use Celtic. You need vitamin C to make stomach acid, so the herbal vitamin C, and you need zinc. 30 milligrams of zinc once a day with the meal. Make sure it's with the meal so you don't get nauseous. Or just eat a bunch of cashews or something that's high in zinc. You need those to create stomach acid. All right, now you are set to create protein. You need protein, lots of protein foods, especially when you're older. That's what helps build your muscles. So if you work out but don't eat protein, not going to do much. If you eat lots of protein but don't work out, well, that's actually not good either, because protein can feed things that can accelerate something in you that is also advantageous of older not so well people. So protein should definitely be part of your diet, lots of it, but you need to be working out so it goes to the right thing, which is your muscles, your bones, your collagen. If your skin is wrinkling up and it's crepey and it's just brittle, that's lack of collagen. And if it's happening to your skin, it's also happening to your bones and your muscles and your heart, because that is also a muscle. Hiding your skin issues with creams and plastic surgery isn't going to change the fact that the same thing is happening to everything inside you. Your muscles, your bones, your heart, your veins, everything. Matter of fact, varicose veins is when your veins are getting so falling apart that blood is starting to soak through your veins, and then you start seeing blood is actually bluish purple inside you before it oxygenates. So that's what you're seeing, is your veins falling apart. Lack of collagen. Now, vitamin C helps that. It helps varicose veins and collagen, but it's not going to help much, again, if you keep doing the sugar and the bread and the orange juice and the bad stuff. So, in coffee, oh my God, coffee has tannins. Tannins prevent the absorption of nutrients. That's right there is a huge one for people. And they're burning out their adrenals, which makes your hormones messed up. So now your hormones can't produce things that make everything in your body work right. So try to cut the coffee. Start doing tea, at least green tea. The caffeine in green tea is nowhere near as bad for you as coffee. Nutrition is just as important in getting your strength back as working out. You got to do both. You can't just eat right and not work out and sit all day. You have to move your body. This is the biggest problem in the United States. Other countries are kind of laughing at us sometimes, how weak we are. A lot of people in other countries don't even have furniture. It's not because they can't afford it. It's because it's their culture. When they have their family together in the room, they squat. That's how they eat. They're squatting when they have conversations. Because they squat so much in other countries, they can just stand up like this, no problem. So if they fall down, they can get back up because they have strong leg muscles. This is what saves your life. This is what lengthens your life. And you're working out your soleus, so you're pumping your blood back up. So you got to be able to do that. This is why people in other countries don't have the sarcopenia and the osteoporosis as much as we do in America, in the modern civilized modern world with junk food. So this is so important to be able to squat, to stand up like this, to be able to walk. Basic stuff. Squatting and walking are probably the two most life-saving things that you can do for your health and your longevity, and to keep yourself from falling down and not being able to get back up. Because if you can't get back up, or if you fall and you break a bone and you're like in your 70s or 80s, there's a good chance you got $1 million bill coming from the hospital, and the good chance you might not even survive. And your family is stuck with $1 million or more bill that didn't have a happy ending. So it's so important that you do your bit and you eat right and you start working out your muscles and building that strength. So if you fall down, that you can get back up again. It's really up to you. Stop depending on other people to save you, to help you. Your happiness, your longevity is up to you and what you do with what you have. It does not require a lot of effort. It just means a little bit of investment, doing some basic things in life that you were supposed to be doing anyway. And the more you do that, the longer you can live and the better quality of life you have and the family and those around you. It's the little things that add up, the little things you do. This is investing in your future. Any investor knows it all comes from the little pennies you put in every day. It adds up in the jar. Same thing with your health. You have to add up those little moments of working out, even if it's just simple stuff like this. Just do what you can. Start with what you can and work your way up from there. It is the best thing you can do, and the way the world can actually be better for everybody and not put a strain on the medical system and financially kill the rest of your family for something that might not even turn out right anyway. Look at other cultures in other countries. They don't have all the problems we do in this modern society. I mean, they have some because they're starting to live like us, but they have longer, healthier, happier lives because they do basic stuff. They walk, they go outside, they get sunlight. They don't necessarily go to gyms. They carry water, food, groceries. They go walking. Basic, simple stuff. It's not difficult. It's not expensive. It's really easy. You just got to start doing it. So I hope you take this to heart, because this is one of the most life-changing things you can do, and you should start when you're early and when you're young. Start no matter what age you are. If you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s, start exercising, start working out your muscles, because that's what's going to keep you alive, and it's going to keep you strong until the day you die. Hope you got something out of this. I will see you in the next video. Stay strong. Bye.